Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing out there? Like to welcome y'all to the X Vents podcast, man. Finally getting the first episode out the way. I know I told y'all a little while ago that I was going to get into this, and some of y'all behind the scenes have hit me up wondering when it was going to drop. So here we go. First, like to throw it out there that this would not be possible without the homie Sway Love, my man Reg. He was the one who about a year or so ago, he got the podcast fire ignited, so to speak. He came to me with an idea. He wanted to get one going. That one was, based around music topics and stuff of that nature. And, we got a couple episodes out the way, but we had to shut it down. I was on workers' comp. My attorney was like negative. The insurance company on the opposite side would look for any reason to try to say I was making money, even though we wasn't making a penny. But I didn't want that beef, so we let it go. But it did give me some insight on how these things come about, and putting in research just to know what we was talking about. I enjoyed that part of it, and it was something I liked, so we getting back into it. And more along the lines of things that are near and dear to me, but everyday shit I need to vent about, get it off my chest, and it should connect, you know what I mean? I'm a father now, so we get into some parenthood stuff. I'm married, we get into some relationship shit, we get into some music stuff, stay away from, any serious political stuff, but we'll have some laughs, you know what I mean? I'm a smoker, so we get into stuff like that, and which on that topic we can lead into what I really want to focus on for this first episode. And along that line, Boston Cannabis Week was just this past week. It's like a week-long event of essentially a networking event, other little workshops and things like that, educational things. Meet people, learn the business, and some performances went down. Shout out to performers Lisa Bello, Latrell James, Marcella Cruz, Slane, amongst others. I know I'm forgetting names. But yeah, so Boston just had the Cannabis Week, and I'm a medical card holder. And I had a little experience this past summer, at the beginning of the summer happened. And, first shout out to the medical marijuana industry in Massachusetts. I salute. But yeah, man, so being a medical marijuana card holder, being a smoker my whole life, if anybody who knows me, they know I smoke, better part of my life, and glad to see the stigma is being shed a little bit. But anyway, I want to be part of the boom, so to speak, not necessarily to try to just think I'm going to be a millionaire overnight, but once I got the card and started visiting dispensaries, I realized how much I didn't know about bud growing up. You know what I mean? We just used to cop, get that fat ass dub or the dime, you know what I mean? And smoke our regular weed and just go about our day. So we didn't really know shit. So that's one thing I realized. With that being said, I wanted to learn. I wanted to know more about this whole process, how to grow, the business side of it. I like to put my money, invest a couple dollars into it, not necessarily directly a dispensary, but I'm thinking the best way to do that is let's go work. Let's try to work. Plus, like I said, I was on workers' comp, so once I got cleared to get back to work, I didn't necessarily want to jump into a construction site again and risk just getting hurt again. And plus, anxiety of falling on a roof set in. I didn't want to get sent back to a roof, so I wanted to ease back into the workforce. It had been a while, damn near 3 years. So, technically, weed probably wasn't even legal when I was working. But, so I started applying, looking for part-time hours or full-time hours. At first, I was looking for part-time hours, but once I realized that probably wasn't a possibility, a lot of them didn't offer part-time hours, I started applying for full-time positions. And in good health, in Brockton, Massachusetts, responded. It was one of the only ones who responded and offered me a position. I started communicating with the hiring manager there, and not the hiring manager. He was a manager of the trim and package department or whatever. And, started communicating with him via email, set up an interview. We get to the interview, and, I nailed it. It was cool. They took me on a tour around the building, got to introduce me to other employees. And, it was something that I wanted to be a part of. I was super excited I was glad and happy as hell that, I essentially got hired, pending background check. We started communicating again via email because my son's school at the time also was trying to verify my employment. It was like income based, what we was going to be paying for the daycare. My bad, for the daycare, not the school, preschool. So I get the company tax ID number or federal ID number or whatever. They give me a soft start date, again pending background check. And so it was all good though, and I report back to the school. They gave me the info to forward to the school, and it's all documented. It's all in emails. The funniest thing happens is, first week of June, wife and I out in Philly at the Roots picnic. Shout out to Sean and the crew, the Philly crew, the tour, the festival crew. So we out at the Roots picnic, and I miss a call from the hiring manager. I call him back. We end up playing phone tag for the next couple days. Anyway, he sends me an email that Monday, letting me know, hey, we was playing phone tag this weekend. Sorry about that, but some things came back on your background check. We're not going to be able to hire you. Good luck with your job search. I think I had to hit him back to ask, what first I was in shock. I was taken aback because my background check is solid. At this point, I knew I was not worried about my background check. As I said, the things that I was worried about was getting back on the roof or just putting my body in physical danger in any way or fashion. And background check was not nothing. All my issues was teenager issues. As an adult, I've been clean. Anyway, so I asked, what was the issue with my background check? Like I said, I was stumped. Hits me back, and there was flags with my social media. Okay, even more bugged out because now I'm my social media, and I'm no angel. Like I said, I smoke, I curse, but anybody that knows me, and y'all know me, how I carry myself on the internet, on social media, I mean, I don't think I'd be bugging out. It definitely, I'm like, it can't be nothing political because I haven't even mentioned the man since, late 2017, I think it was. So I was just bugged out. I didn't know what it was. So I let him know, okay, well, I know by right, I'm due a copy of the background report. So he says he'll give me a copy of that. And then in the meantime, he had a gentleman call me who now I believe this was the hiring manager. I do forget his name, but I'll start pulling up some of the receipts. So I'm speaking to the hiring manager, whoever the gentleman was, and got a lot of documents here, and he tells me that, okay, the issue with your background check was your social media. So, okay, well, my social media, is all mostly about my kids, sports, some music stuff, my wife, support my wife's business and all of that. I mentioned the hip hop pops movement that I stand behind, and I stand behind my social media presence as, in my eyes, as little as it has been up until recently. I stand behind it. I think, I'm proud of it. I don't bug out on social media. I'm not a weirdo. I'm not no internet thug or whatever. So he's telling me, okay, yeah, it's your Twitter. My Twitter. Oh, all right. Well, what's the issue with my Twitter? And he starts saying, well, we have, 147 red flags on your profile. He says, you run, he says my email. I said, yeah, that's my email. This is your Twitter profile. Yeah, that's my Twitter profile. What's the issue? And he says, well, you got these questionable tweets or whatnot. And I asked my man to read them back or whatever, let me know what they were. And as he starts going over these tweets, they're all retweeted for the most part, probably 90% for the most part, were retweeted hip hop lyrics, or things from hip hop artists. Um, I mean, I think of the 147, first off, it wasn't 147, 146, whatever it was. My Instagram is connected to my Facebook and my Twitter. If I post something on my Instagram, it goes to both. So they was essentially flagging me. For one post, I'm getting flagged 3 times, I believe it was. So, you drop that down. And then I think there was probably between 7 and 10 that were original things that I tweeted that just had swears, really. And the main swear, obviously, y'all know, hip hop lyrics. So, nigga. Anytime the word nigga was tweeted, or essentially it was retweeted, I got flagged as a racist. I got almost every tweet here, right here, flag type, it was bad. Reason, drugs, weed. The tweet was Gold Twins, then deep cover. It's the reeking in me. Recently, I've reeked of weed for reeks. These were lyrics. These were original lyrics. These were original lyrics. Cause it said I've reeked of weed for weeks, so I got flagged for drugs, weed. Mind you, this is a medical marijuana dispensary in Brockton that's looking to hire me. That they're using these, and so I'm only gonna go with the ones that he started reading back to me. And again, okay, I understand the process. They have every right not to hire me for whatever reason they deem acceptable. The thing that got me, okay, you don't like the term nigga, whatever. Again, I'm half Puerto Rican, half Cape Verdean. This is what I told the gentleman. I didn't bug out on the phone at all. I spoke to the gentleman in a way to where I was hoping he would, rethink his decision in hiring me. Because regardless of how I speak outside of the workplace, I mean, I lived in the hood, I lived in the suburbs. You can communicate with any one of my past employees. You can communicate with school. How I carry myself, how I speak has never been an issue. I know how to speak when I'm with my friends. I know how to speak when I'm in a professional setting at my job. The irony also in this situation was they start flagging me, right, for this language, essentially for using the word nigga. Or I retweeted something from Eminem. I think it said bitch or pussy. So that got me flagged as a racist. Okay, here my boys dropped a mixtape. I retweeted their SoundCloud link. Hashtag BTB, right there. Hashtag blue bitch, BTB. That got flagged for sexism, bigotry. All right, you know what I mean? So the irony here is that, okay, they don't want to hire me for the language. All right. But when I'm speaking to the gentleman and I'm letting him know that these are hip hop lyrics and whatnot, and most of retweets, they're not even like original thoughts or whatever. It's not me writing these things out. But whatever. Again, none of them were even like violent or anything nuts, in my opinion. I'm letting him know, okay, well, now I feel like you guys are in a way discriminating against me for being a hip hop fan. And the irony of the situation is, remember when you guys interviewed me, you took me on a tour of the building. You took me to all the different departments, the room where they grow and cultivate, the other room where the edibles are made, the oils are made, and blah, blah, blah. One of those rooms, I believe 2 of those rooms, definitely one of those rooms, you guys had 2 Chainz playing, unedited, swears and all, with the workers reciting the lyrics. Medical marijuana dispensary in Brockton, Massachusetts. So there's people there reciting the lyrics. So I reminded the guy about that. He knew because there are cameras in this in their rooms. So it's easy to just go back to that day and you'll see. And obviously if they was playing the music, that's probably an everyday occurrence. So I'm letting him know, how is that okay that they're listening and saying these words that you're deciding not to hire me over? And his response, and this is where I really had an issue, was, we don't represent that culture. All right, but you had the songs playing. And then he says, yeah, well, because we hire people from all different backgrounds. Okay, but now you just said you don't represent that culture. So do you mean to tell me that every employee at your job, in your business, none of them have ever used this language before, ever retweeted hip hop lyrics? You know what I mean? Because again, if they were original statements, some crazy wild stuff, these days there are people putting some wild stuff on the internet. I can understand that. There is a tweet in there, an original tweet that absolutely wildin'. I told Kurt Schilling he could suck a dick. Excuse my language, but Kurt Schilling by all means could suck a dick. Anyway, he didn't even mention that tweet. You know what I mean? So, and I get it, but you don't represent the culture. Medical marijuana dispensary in Brockton, Massachusetts. To my knowledge, and going back to the Boston Cannabis Week, an article was just covered about this event and a woman involved with this, and pointing out how the communities that have been negatively impacted by marijuana arrests and coming up with guys in jail over weed and things like that, how it is negatively impacted these communities, how they're supposed to in a way kind of help build up some of those communities, give people from these communities opportunities, whether it's of employment, ownership, whatever. And what we're seeing is that's necessarily not happening. And I'm realizing that for things like this is why it's not happening. Medical marijuana dispensary in Brockton, Massachusetts. So if you're supposed to be building and up that community around you, if you're supposed to be, benefiting that community, giving back to that community, like you guys say you do, and if you're hiring locally, but you're deciding that this is something unhireable offense, tweets with that language from lyrics and things of that nature, okay, how much of your workforce are you cutting off? How many people are you already not allowing a chance at employment in that neighborhood? And this is not to judge people in that neighborhood, but I'm half Puerto Rican, half Cape Verdean. I got family in Brockton. We're in Brockton, so I know how Brockton people are. You know what I mean? I know niggas in Brockton. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I had an issue with. You don't represent that culture, but you hire people from different backgrounds. It's okay for them to use this language while on the clock, but it wasn't okay for me. In the background check, I didn't get flagged for not a thing. I don't even remember what this was. I didn't get flagged for anything. No criminal history issues. No, nothing. To not get hired over tweets, which in that sense, because the gentleman also, he tried to put the blame on the company that does the background checks that reported the tweets. Look, okay, this was of Tupac. I retweeted a picture of Tupac. You know what I mean? That got flagged bad. Violence, steal. The word steal was used. Retweeting Joel Ortiz and DJ Academic. You know what I mean? I got flagged in one of these for using the word black. If these are, what's being flagged, where's black? I retweeted or I tweeted Styles P. I always wanted to thank whoever decided to put Angie Stone on Black Magic. Then vocals, heartfelt to this day. Alchemist for the B2, track 4 and 5, matter of fact. That wasn't even my tweet. I retweeted it. That got flagged because I used the word black. So after the income tax money run out, you ain't never met a nigga like me. Casanova. And I got flagged for that. So it was okay to you have employees on the clock using the language. Mild tweets, no. Like I said, no, nothing wrong with the criminal background and nothing like that. They didn't even decide to, call no references. Didn't call any of my old bosses to use that as a determining factor in the hiring process. You didn't you didn't not hire me because of issues in my character. It was tweets. And then, like I was saying, they try to put it on the company that does the background check. But all that company does is probably they have these words that are, flagged or these keywords that once they're noticed, they get flagged. And then so that company just reports back to In Good Health. In Good Health reads these tweets, and then they make the choice to not hire me because of these tweets. And he started reading the tweets. The first one he read was a Royce da 5'9" lyric, which made me laugh or whatever, said nigga and all that, so whatever. But if so the fact that I've been a good employee at most of my places of work, everywhere I've worked, I've been a good employee for the most part. I know, I quit in questionable fashion at a spot or two, but you anything that is typical procedure in a hiring process, and I get it's a different. That was one thing. Okay, it's a different world now. I get that. It'd been a while since I had applied and had to go to an interview, and things are different. But I made a joke with the guy hiring me, Sean, because I was a warehouse manager and we had to hire people. And then also when I worked in the marketing department of that company, I wasn't involved in the hiring process, but the people that were hiring would, give me, let me see some of the questionable characters that would apply. So I get that. And we used to check their Facebook back then. And this was before now where it's really, I believe every company does that. So we made a joke that, people apply and give their social media info, knowing that they have some crazy, like one dude had applied to be a marketing rep at our company, and his Facebook profile pic was holding a gang of pistols or whatever. So no, 86 his file. So I made a joke with the guy at the time, like I get, like that's wild, and I provided my email, not even for a second thinking there'd be an issue. You know what I mean? So that's my thing is one. You specifically used the tweets, you know what I mean? So that was a problem to me. If it, like I said a bunch of times, if it was original stuff, okay, whatever. If you wanted to quote the Kurt Schilling one, then by all means, do your thing. But in my opinion, that was not a reason to not hire me. And at the end of the day, that's y'all loss because I'm a good employee. You know what I mean? But it does suck because I wanted to learn and I was super excited. And that was just going to be it was going to be a dope look. My first application, my first interview. After a while, nailing it and getting the job and in the area that I wanted to work in, and it was going to be cool. And, I didn't get that chance. So it sucked. But, anybody that I found how to, deal with that in the right fashion. And, we put in complaint or whatever. Because I told dude, like, y'all discriminating against me for being a hip hop fan. And he was like, no, I don't believe that. And, that's your opinion. I have mine. And there's people that could deal with that. And we'll figure it out or whatever. But I don't even want to do all that. It's just it's a headache. But at the end of the day, I do want to expose this type of activity because if you're not hiring people that have retweeted or posted rap lyrics, and again, it wasn't even like okay, the Eminem lyrics said "bitch or pussy," I believe, but it wasn't one of his crazier lyrics. You know what I mean? So I can understand too. You know what I mean? I'm going based off of what was reported back to me by the gentleman who decided to or not to hire me. You know what I mean? And the tweets that he read back to me. So, if that's what y'all are doing, then that's whack because how does that help that community? And then that got me to thinking, and I haven't been back in that building since, but it wanted me to go back and then see, what everybody looked like. What did all the employees look like? Because if you're not hiring people that use that kind of language, and maybe everybody was just smart and used a burner email account or something. I don't know. I did not think there was going to be an issue with my social media. Y'all know there ain't no issue with my social media. But okay, yeah, I use the word nigga when I'm talking with the homies. I retweet rap lyrics that have the word nigga. Okay, ask any boss of mine, have they ever heard me use that word on the clock? You know what I mean? No, not at least not in no setting where that word might be looked at. It might scare some people. You know what I mean? So I know how to act, man, and I keep it professional when there's a need. There's a time and a place for everything, and that was wild to me. And if that's what these dispensaries are doing, then how many people in these communities are you helping? What wrongs are you fixing? You know what I mean? If that's what you're doing, and they're in Good Health is looking to open for recreation soon, so they sure getting a lot of money from this community that they judging. And I'm not trying to speak for Brockton, but there's going to be a lot of dudes like, trust me, if my social media was a problem, none of y'all motherfuckers' social medias is passing. And you know it. You know what I mean? My homies, I talked to a few people about this. People were bugged out. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not an angel, and I get it. If that's, don't hire me because I use that word, but you say that's not the culture you represent, and you got people in the back with 2 Chainz playing, and shout out to 2 Chainz and shout out to the people, whoever decided to use that song. Dope song. But, don't tell me you don't represent that culture when it's going on the clock. You know what I'm saying? And don't talk to me about the culture of Brockton. I'm Puerto Rican and Cape Verdean. I got family in Brockton. I came up around there. Like, don't talk to me about that culture, please. You know what I mean? And I told the gentleman, I see you flagging me. I'm getting flagged as a racist or a bigot, whatever. We can debate that to the moon turns freaking orange. You know what I mean? If somebody wants to approach me like I'm some type of racist, some bigot or whatever, one, I love everybody. I rock out with people until they give me a reason not to, and it was just it was it was a letdown, man. It sucks. So anybody that wants any feedback on how to deal with that situation or what they feel about that, once again, y'all just hit up In Good Health in Brockton and let them know. You know what I mean? But get back to me. And that's just something I wanted to touch on, because, like I said, it's wild, and it's a crazy practice that I pass every background check. The irony, more irony, is right now I'm working as a maintenance man in a school, so I had to pass 2 background checks for the school to work around children. You know what I mean? Especially in a Catholic school. So I can pass the state background check for that, and then I had to go to Attorney General office and pass that background check. So I was good there, but I'm not good at the medical marijuana dispensary in Brockton. Come on now, you know what I mean? So shame on y'all In Good Health. Like I said, any feedback on that situation, please do. That was the main topic for the first X Vents podcast. Glad I got that off my chest and share that experience with y'all. Pretty fun. We are gonna find ways to incorporate some of the homies and friends into this podcast. One way that I'm super excited, and we're gonna get into that right now, is my homie Tim Smith, my dog Tim Dog from Holy Name, baby. He do a little thing. He's done it for a while now. So check out his social media. He does Timmy's Take. He does a little quick review on movies. He's real into movies, always has been. And, we're going to get into that right now. Here's Timmy's Take on the X Vents podcast.
Yo, what up? It's Timmy from Timmy's Take. I've been doing Timmy's Take for a while about movies and some TV shows on some social media shit. My man X-Ray asked me to do this for him, for his podcast, and I said, of course. So I review a shitload of movies. I think I'll be doing one once a week. I'm not too sure. I'll probably get canceled after this one because it's me and it's fucking boring. So I'm reviewing the movie Good Boys. It's about 3 5th graders or something that are trying to, I think they're in 5th grade, that they're trying to go to a kissing party, and some kid loses his dad's drone for work. It's fucking hilarious. It reminds me of me and Boo and my boy Eddie growing up. just running around being idiots. The movie's fucking hysterical. I think you guys would all like it. I liked it, and I don't think many movies are funny. It's a true R-rated comedy. They make a lot of those R-rated comedies, but halfway through, it's fucking corny rom-com shit. This movie isn't like that. It's hysterical, and all the shit that happens with the three little kids is hysterical. But it's definitely. I wouldn't say it's a date night movie. I mean, you can see it with your girl, or you can see it with your boyfriend, or whatever. You can also see it with your boys, or whatever. It's wicked funny. I bet you'll be even funny if you smoke weed and go see it. I could definitely smell weed in the movie theater, and those people thought it was fucking hilarious. My rating system goes like this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 5 Smitties. 5 is the best movie, top 10, top 20 movies immediately. But this movie is, it's hard to rate comedies versus like dramas and shit, but this movie is definitely one of the funniest, easily top 25 funny movies I've ever seen. And that's saying something, because I watch fucking 50 movies a week. I'm a true fucking movie nerd. But I give it 4 out of 5 Smitties, which is really good and really high. I hope you guys like it, and definitely go see it. Peace.
So yeah, hey, that was Timmy's take. Shout out to Tim for that. We'll be checking in with him every episode as long as he's reviewing. You know, we'll be looking out for his reviews. Go out and see Good Boys if you haven't. I mean, by this point, just throw on the Fire Stick, get your Cody on. You know, like he said, something you can see with the lady, especially if y'all high. But definitely something you can see with the homies and get your laugh on. So once again, shout out to Tim. That was Timmy's take, and he just reviewed the Good Boys movie. And another way that we are gonna be getting some assistance from the homies is another segment that we got coming up called the Goon Scoop. And what we're gonna be doing on the Goon Scoop is we're gonna get insight on current events from an unlikely source. Check in with some of the homies and just see how they feel on some of the goings on in the news. You know what I mean? You might not care about their opinion, but you know, what was Ja Rule thinking? We want to know what Ja think. I want to know what the goons think. Goon Scoop on X Vents Podcast. Hey, what's good with y'all, man? X still here, obviously still me. And what this is the Goon Scoop. And as I said, as we move forward, we will be cycling through some of the homies and you know, some of my friends, and we'll be touching on current events, but from their point of view, from their perspective. As I wait for some of the homies who said they were going to make videos to actually make the videos and send them to me, I don't want to wait too long. Let's lead by example and just show them how it's done. For the first week, as I sit here and watch this Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks game, Celtics making a comeback, cycling back and forth between this and that Philly and Minnesota game. Philly up right now, Philly looking good. But Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns just got into a little tussle. In the NBA, it's a tussle. In the NBA, you don't see fights. It's not a brawl. It's not a rumble. It's not a Donnybrook. I got the Bruins sweater on. You know I'm a Bruins fan. I love hockey. Even that's changed. But those was fights. Old NBA has a couple fights. Now it's just a bunch of tussles. That was a tussle with Karl Anthony Towns and you, Joel Embiid. You're not going to see this, but if you ever do, a little tussle, y'all end up on the floor. Man, Ben Simmons had a chokehold on him. But then you get up and do the little air punches, you know, like you was boxing it out or you came out on top. Last time we saw you on national television, you was blowing jungle fever snot bubbles on live camera in front of everybody. So relax with the tough guy stuff. Like I said, it's the NBA. It's a tussle. That was a tussle. You didn't even do much in that. You know what I'm saying? But you're doing the little punches. That's what I feel like venting on for the first week of the Goon Scoop. I'll get back with y'all, man. Like I said, we'll be hitting up some of the homies and just getting their take on the current events around the world. That pretty much wraps it up for the X Vents Podcast. First episode out the way. Like to thank all those who tuned in. Hit up the comment section. All feedback is welcome. Let us know any topics you want to discuss as well. Anything you want to get off your chest, let us know and we'll get to it. Like to thank Tim for the Timmy's take. And def hit up the wife's website, www.prettybeauty.com. It's the holidays, so, hit up the site, check her work. She def get it in with all the cosmetics and hair and makeup and, lashes and everything. So hit up the website. Also on the website, under the Pretty's Press section, is my most recent release musically with the homie Hollywood Hayes, a little 5-track EP, #34E5, available on the website for free download. You can stream it, also get it on Audio Mac and YouTube as well. So yeah, that'll pretty much do it. Like to thank everyone again. Much appreciated. I'm going to enjoy this. And we out of here for the X Vents podcast. I'll get with y'all.